following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Sitting down and designing, where every man in a thinking, what are we gonna be wearing? Yo, I'm a Liverpool MC, you can't trust me, big up the girls inside the party. Let's get down to crazy Jimmy, big up myself and known as Alfie, the one and only, the Turkish MC. Always love the clothes of Jimmy. Bitch, I'm your wanna be, Jimmy Star's new celebrity. We'll take you out to Jimmy Star's.
Hey ho, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, bringing you the good times in music, fashion, pop culture, and entertainment. We've got a very fun show for you guys today. Before I talk about who's coming on the show, let me say hi to my cool, outrageous man about town co-host Ron Russell and Astro.
He is at my side all the time, no matter where I go, no matter what I do. He is absolutely my dog, and I love, and adore him.
He's fabulous.
He's my pal. He has such a personality. He's like a human. He understands human words too.
Yep. And he loves traveling with us.
Yeah. He could be sleeping at the foot of the bed, and my leg could suddenly hurt, and I could yell out with "oh fuck." The minute he hears "fuck," he comes running over to me and embraces me because he knows I'm upset. See, he's coming. He's in my lap.
He's fabulous.
So dogs do understand words. They are signals. Okay.
He loves traveling with us. This weekend we went to Idlewild, which is way up high in the mountains, and we ate at a restaurant called Hemingway's, and he sat with us, and he just loved every minute of it.
It was nice. It was 111 here in Palm Springs, and it was 75.
Yeah, like between 75 and 80, depending on the time of the day.
So it was just delightful weather to have.
Yeah, we had a really good time, so it was fun. So today, you guys, we have very fun guests. Our first guest coming on is going to be Bear Fiorda. He's our first MMA fighter coming on. He's also a good friend of ours, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. He also hosts a show that's on K4HD Radio, which is the sister station to W4CY. Then we have actor, writer, and producer Jim Piddock coming on. You guys, anybody who likes Christopher Guest films will know him because he's in all of them. One of the big ones is Best in Show, about the dogs. But he's in all the big comedies. He's also been in some huge films like Lethal Weapon 2 and Independence Day. And he's also written some huge films. He wrote Tooth Fairy, starring The Rock, and a couple other big films and TV shows. So I think it'll be a lot of fun having him on today. So I'm excited that we're going to have a good show. I also want to remind everybody that my book, Pop Goes the Collector, is out. It's on Amazon. You can get it in paperback. You can also get it in paperback and on Kindle. And if you want an autographed copy, message me on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or someplace, and I can send you one that way because I've got a bunch of copies now at the house. And so I want to thank everybody for all the support. And my last big announcement is Metal Earth, Metlerth, the sci-fi animation project that you see all over Facebook, has launched an Indiegogo campaign. It's going to be really fun. So please, if you want to donate, they got some great perks. And you can just plug in Metal Earth on Indiegogo. It's one of the top campaigns on there. And Ron is going to say something now. What are you going to say?
Has anybody out there got a good shaver? Face shaver. I had one for years and it broke. So I'm unable to shave. And I look like an old man with this beard. And Jimmy hates it. And I need to go, after the show's over, somewhere to buy a shaver. Now, the one I had was a crappy one. It was expensive, but didn't work. It didn't cut my beard. It was a nightmare. 2 hours I would and I still had beard. So if you have a shaver, electric shaver that you think is fabulous and that it cuts a beard that's thick, please let me know. I would be very happy.
I also have another cool announcement. So I want to give a shout out to Mark Love Rush Schneider. We love him. We're doing another 90s show at the very first week of August. And he has been such a charmingly fabulous guy. And he knows how much I like boy bands. And so he has scheduled one of the members of the UK boy band 911 is coming on our show on July 23rd. And then on July 30th, we also have the boy band Let Loose coming on. Two huge UK boy bands. And so I'm super excited about that. And the same day that we have the Let Loose guy come on, we also have Lady Lake Music's artist David Martinez coming on, who hasn't been on in about 4 or 5 years. So I'm looking forward to that because we've been playing his music lately, and he's a superstar.
Also, the rumor is he's a good kisser.
Who?
Mark.
Oh, he could be. He tags me in everything, and they're doing a whole bunch of great stuff. And all the artists that he works with, I've become very friendly with all of them on social media and Instagram and Facebook. They're just great people. And their shows do fabulous. We bring all those people on that he works with, and we get huge numbers. So
he's a great person. He's a wonderful, wonderful soul and a fun guy and a sweetie pie.
We also want to give a shout out. Lady Lake Music just joined us in the chat room. So did B. Claudia. B, I'm so happy that your son Nick is okay.
Well, what was wrong with him?
He was on an island someplace that had a big fire, and the whole island had to be evacuated.
Oh. Like Gilligan's Island?
Someplace in in Europe someplace. And they were worried. It happened last Wednesday while the show was going on, and
he's okay.
So he's okay. So that's what counts.
Right.
And he's a fabulous son. B's son is like your daughter's, just wonderful. So we're just very happy for you, B, and I'm excited about today's show. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, Bear's fun.
Yes. And Jim Piddock, you guys, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's on vacation, at the French Riviera or someplace. The second guest, he's on vacation, and he's going to be calling us in from wherever he's on vacation from, I believe.
Oh, we're going to have to hate him today.
He's there, and we're here.
French Riviera.
I don't know exactly where he is because I forgot, but it's something really nice like that.
Oh, if he's on the French Riviera, he better watch his ass. I'll get him. I'm jealous. I can't say that word because I don't believe in jealousy. I said that as a joke. No one should ever be jealous of anyone else.
But it is very nice to be on a vacation someplace in Europe enjoying yourself.
Yes. Should be us.
Yes, it should be us. So then, see, look how we look weird here.
I look weird?
Yeah, look, that's how we look to the people. No, we don't look like that. We look like that.
What do I look like?
Hang on. See, we need to be lighter there.
Yeah.
Yeah, now we're lighter.
And my beard doesn't show.
There you go. Okay. So, Nashvi says the light's very bright. Okay. They say the light's too bright. Okay.
No, it's not.
Anyway, it'll adjust itself as we get going on. So what's up, everybody in the chat room? We're going to have a fun show today. Ron and I I've been watching a lot of Tubi movies lately because there's nothing to watch.
Whoa. You put yourself in this frame.
What do you mean in this frame?
Or move the camera. More. See, I have all that.
Yeah, I don't know why it's that way. The camera doesn't really move with you very well. Okay, that's good enough. As long as I can reach the computer so I can keep things going, we're good.
Because when you go into that thing to write,
I move.
You're off camera.
Right.
Oh, well, in my day, that was a no-no. But today, anything goes.
That's right.
So it's okay.
Also, what else is going on? There's a lot of cool things going on, but I can't remember all of them. But lots of big stuff, you guys.
Did we book that trip to New York?
No.
We didn't book it yet?
No.
So we lost it.
We lost it already, so that's why we haven't booked it, because I couldn't find it again. So I have to, because that took us almost 3 hours to get that, so I have to fucking do it again.
There are no longer non-stop flights anywhere. If you live on the West Coast, you cannot get to the East Coast on a non-stop. Maybe out of L.A., but who the hell wants to drive 2 hours to L.A. to take
No, there's not one from LA either.
not from LA. So what's going on with the airlines? They're really taking advantage of us, and we're putting up with it. They're charging us extra for seats, for luggage, for meals, for everything. It's insane. A ticket that starts off at $300, when you're done, winds up to be $700. And no non-stops. They shove you all over the country. And you have a 2-hour wait here, an hour wait there. It's bullshit. I don't have hours to give away. I don't have 2 hours to sit in an airport in the middle of America because they don't have a full flight. Bullshit. They have full flights. Every flight I've ever been on was 100% filled. So I think Donald Trump better do something about the airlines. That's the next thing I think he should work on.
In the chat room, they say they don't like flying. It's like going to a bus terminal now.
It is. A subway in Manhattan is even more luxurious. But I mean, it's terrible that we have to. I have a bad knee. I don't, I have a healing knee, and I can't do 8 hours to Pennsylvania, Florida, or New York. When I used to do 4 hours, 5 hours with tailwinds.
It's just messed up. So anyway, we're looking to try to go in August, you guys. So we're going to take a week
I
off.
remember a day
we haven't figured it out yet.
I remember a day when the ticket was $350, and your seat was free. You could pick whatever you want, and you got a meal, a beautiful meal. You had a choice of steak or chicken or whatever on the plane, and it was free. Because
Not anymore.
The law was that any flight over 6 hours, they had to feed you.
Lady Lake says travel used to be elegant and courteous, but no more.
Oh, I used to get dressed when I flew. I wore a jacket, a suit, and a tie.
Especially Spirit Halloween. Don't go on that one. I mean, not Spirit Halloween. Spirit Airlines. Spirit Airlines is like the worst out of all of them.
I've seen people on the plane in pajamas. How dare they go bedroom slippers and pajamas? They are on an airplane. How disgusting.
Yes.
The day that I went on an airplane, women wore hats with veils and gloves and beautiful suits, and everybody got dolled up. And that made the airplane beautiful because it was elegant. And later on in the 60s, we had the upstairs nightclub in the airplane. You went up the spiral staircase, and there was a piano up there. And they played the piano, and people would sing along, and you'd have cocktails and smoke. I mean, flying was wonderful. Now they pack you in like cattle. They treat you like shit. I mean, I've had the weirdest stewardesses or whatever they're called. Flying back from New York. No, from where we were? Dallas to Palm Springs on our last trip. I had a sex change for a stewardess. She was beautiful. She was very sweet, very nice. But I never thought the day would come when a sex change would be a stewardess in an airplane. Never.
Either way, it was terrible. The traveling is terrible. It's not any fun. And my dad worked for Delta Airlines, so I flew for free till I was 21. And I never rode in anything but first class. And they used to serve us with real silverware, real plates, and you would have steak or chicken or something. So
and champagne.
I had it when it was really good because now you go and it's just terrible. So I can't stand it.
I was on the maiden voyage of a 747 from New York to LA in 1960-something. And the plane was bigger than an apartment house. And it was wonderful, elegant and beautiful. And just flying was a pleasure. Not anymore. Now I dread it with a passion.
He also doesn't like to fly to Dallas, and almost every flight wants to take you to Dallas. And it's the biggest airport you've ever seen.
And they shove you on a train, and you got to take a train from depot to depot. Get out of here. What do I look like to you? 85 years old on a train. Fuck off. So I like to fly in and out of Salt Lake City. What happens is you leave you leave Palm Springs and you go to Salt Lake City.
We don't know where we're going. We're working it out. Oh, I want to give a shout out too because Jeff Caperton is in the chat room. B. Claudia joined us. Jeff
Caperton, you've been all over Facebook.
And now he's on TikTok, you guys. So follow him on TikTok.
He joined TikTok.
He's on TikTok, and Jeff and I have a movie carnival that's coming along really, really nicely that we're going to be working on soon. And so lots of cool things going on with Jeff and I. And we're also going to be doing another movie called Cry Havoc. So Jeff's a busy guy. He's always working.
Busy guy.
Busy guy. Yes. And let's see.
What else? You fainted.
I forgot because it says studio chat 3 people. Does that mean me? Oh, there, Bear's here. Okay, that's what I was wondering about to see, like if Bear was here or not. So I think real quick, you guys, before we do anything, we're gonna do a quick music break. We're gonna play a song by David Martinez. It's called Fast and Hard. And David Martinez is coming on at the end of the month. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very much looking forward to it. So enjoy Fast and Hard. When we get back, we'll be with our first guest, MMA superstar Bear Fiorda. Enjoy.
On our feet when the music began, singing along, clapping our hands, swaying around and doing our dance. You and I were there, drinking wine, Springsteen concert, hot summer night, in mini skirt with your low neckline. We fell fast and we fell hard. We were dancing in the dark. We were blinded by the light. Turn me on, I'm on fire. Too hungry, I fell fast. Fast and hard. When the music ended, we sat, talked for a while, and we laughed. I knew I had to take a chance before I could use my best line. You already knew what was on my mind. It's either your place or mine. We fell fast and we fell hard. We were dancing in the dark. We were blinded by the light. Turn me on, I'm on fire. Too hungry, I fell fast. Fast and hard. Oh baby, we fell fast and we fell hard. Wild child, you were born to run. These glory days are far from done. We fell fast and we fell hard. We were dancing in the dark. We were blinded by the light. Turn me on, I'm on fire. Too hungry, I fell fast, fell fast, fell fast. We fell fast, we fell hard. We were dancing in the dark. We were blinded by the light. Turn me on, I'm on fire. Too hungry, I fell fast. Fast and hard.
Hey, everybody, that was David Martinez, Fast and Hard. He is literally one of the best rock and roll independent artists on planet Earth, you guys. He is so good, and I'm really looking forward to having him on the show at the end of the month. We also played one of his newer songs during, I don't know, sometime recently, and I just love his music. He's really good, so kudos to him. It's really fun.
What I like about his music is he has the same beat that I had when I was a kid, a teenager. All the rock and roll music had that same beat, and he has kept it all these
Yeah,
years.
he's really good. So he's really good, and that song actually reminds me a little bit of Rick Springfield from his Hard to Hold soundtrack. And Rick Springfield, is fucking, like, huge, and it's got a little bit of a Rick Springfield tinge to it, and I just think it's really, really good, and he's a really talented artist. So
There's just so much you could do with music. None of it is real and today. Everything is yesterday. They just change it around. They change your beat a little bit, but you can't. There's just so much you can do. How many musical notes are there? I don't know.
I have no idea.
But all the musical notes that there are have been changed in combination to make songs.
Anyway.
You're allowed to steal, I think, 3 lines or something from a song.
I don't know how. No, it's bars, not lines. Bars. I think you can do 3 bars maybe
3
before you have to pay for it.
No, before you're called stealing.
Yeah, well, you can. They call it sampling, and you pay for it to sample. You got to pay lots and lots of money to sample it. Just like if you want to use like the music in something like I wanted to use a Lita Ford song for a commercial for something, and to use the song in the commercial, just like we only wanted like a 15-second clip. It was like $150,000 or something, So, so it can be big business if you're popular and you got some good songs, and I just think he's super talented. But in the meantime, now we're going to bring on our first guest. So let's bring him on.
How's it going?
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. I am 30 pounds overweight.
I know. I was going to say.
Why are you 30 pounds? Because you're beefing up to fight somebody bigger.
That would be a great thing to say. So why don't we go with that?
Why did you get fat?
So I got fat. No, honestly, I got fat because I had my last. I had a cage fight in 2023 November, and then I just went on vacation for the next 6 months and ballooned up. And all of 24, I did some matches, but I just did them at the weight I was at because I was fine with that. And now that we're getting into 2025, I got a potential jiu-jitsu wrestling match on top of a mountain in next month. I am going down to Mexico in November to fight for 5 days in a row. Now I have to be a little more serious and diligent about losing the weight.
What are you going to be, a heavyweight?
No, it's going to be a middleweight. Right now, I would be classified as a heavyweight, technically, if we go by numbers.
The thing I found fascinating about you was that you were so little and thin. Remember I said you must get killed in the ring? And you said, no, you're really tough. And you're just a little thin guy. Now you're a big fat guy.
I don't think he's actually fat, though.
No, he is fat. Look at the middle on him. Get out of here.
You see it right there. That's where all of it sits.
Wait a sec. I have a question. So you're on a phone. Is there a way you can turn your phone sideways or no?
Maybe
or that mess you up?
Maybe you'll look thinner.
I don't know. Let's try.
See if you can turn it sideways. That way we'll have a full picture of you instead of a half picture if your phone turns. There we go.
I mean, you're still handsome.
Oh, he's gorgeous.
You're still handsome.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
For a fat man, you're handsome.
Yeah, I get my significant other feels the same way.
What's her name? Who I love? Summer. Summer lost all that weight, and Summer looked.
Oh no, Summer lost weight, and so did Alexis. You're talking about Alexis.
I'm talking about Alexis.
Yeah, I'm the manager.
Alexis is one of the most beautiful women in the world, and now that she's thin, she's breathtaking. So learn from her. Go on well, I'm going to be after you.
They said you have a great smile in the chat room. They love your smile.
I have to tell you, when he's skinny, he's movie star material. When I first met him, I said to him, you are the handsomest fella I ever met. And now I have to say, you're the fattest, handsomest man.
So wait, we're going to do a real actual intro.
I'm going to ride you until you lose weight.
He's going to lose weight.
It's not healthy.
It's okay. I need the motivation. Thank you.
Overweight, I care about you. Otherwise, I wouldn't give a fuck, right?
Yes, exactly.
Get to be 300 pounds, go in the circus. I don't care. But no, you're so stunning when you're skinny, and really your features come out. Your face is so cheekbone and chin. Everything just gets so dimensional. Now you're sort of, blurry. But folks, if you saw this guy skinny,
you can see him skinny, you guys. Let me introduce him first, and then we can talk about what people can see him. So, all right, everybody, now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Rice Russell, MMA fighter, TikTok superstar, big on Instagram. He also hosts a popular podcast called The Behind the Scenes, and it's on our sister station, K4HD Radio. So that's the sister to W4CY. Bear Fiorda, hello and welcome to the show.
Woo! Thank you for having me, guys. It's actually really, I wanted to be on a show for some time. Ever since we had you as our first, one of our guests on our show on the sister network, I would very much have wanted to come be a part of it. And so far, this has been everything that I have imagined it would be. I have been laughing the entire time.
You will laugh the whole time. We will have a good time.
I lost 20-something pounds, and I look like shit. Right now, I look like you know who I remind myself of? Remember years ago, the comic with the guy in the grave?
The comic with the guy in the grave?
The skeleton was a comic, a horror comic. The guy the Tales of the Crypt.
Oh, Tales of the Crypt Keeper.
That's who I feel I look like, the guy from the Tales of the Crypt. I'm too skinny. I got to gain back my weight.
He had knee surgery.
I've heard that as you get older, you want to put on a little bit at a time so it helps you keep your features. You don't look gaunt.
Yeah, and he had knee surgery.
Listen, Bear, I'm 85 years old. The fucking features went gone with the wind.
You don't look 85. I'm going to put you at like 70, 60.
I'm 85, and I'll go in the ring and beat the shit out of you.
So you guys listen.
Because I fight dirty. I'm from Brooklyn. I learned to fight in the streets. Meanwhile, remember once when I asked you a question, I want to ask you again. What if you ate bad fish and you had diarrhea and you had to go out in the ring and fight? What do you do?
Use it to your advantage. I mean, listen, if it comes out on the mats, they're going to stop it. But if I'm on top of the guy and it happens, I can at least pretend like nothing's wrong and he's going to sit there and deal with the smell, you know?
you could shit in his face and it's okay.
It'll be okay for at least a couple seconds. Once they figure out what the problem is, they're going to stop it. But for a couple seconds, I have a chance to win.
You know, I don't see you that much anymore. And I'm sorry because I really like you and I miss you. I miss your humor. You know, it's wonderful when you can do a joke on somebody and they feed you back. That shows a good personality. Some people get offended and they get rude and then they get evil. But you always have a great sense of humor.
You know, here's the thing. There's always that sense of I'm the guest. I want to make it a good show for you guys. I'm trying to be responsible and do my part here. You're helping me. You're giving me a platform. So why am I going to be a giant asshole to you guys? I'm also a host. I know what it means to be on your end. I have empathy there. And then I have spent all my time being a monkey in a cage for the people, basically dancing around another person. I've been an entertainer for a decade and some change. So it's just, I know the role. I love the role. I have a good time, and you guys are fun. Sometimes I think people take advantage of.
You also admitted to me once that you like to beat people up.
Well, yeah, there's that. It's a great pastime, honestly. When it's legal, when they agree, I want consent, of course.
So wait, let's brag a little bit. So you guys,
let's brag.
First of all, you want to follow Bear on his Instagram. It's at Bear Fiorda. He has like 300-something thousand followers, I think. On TikTok, he's at Bear Fiorda. He's got over 1 million followers, and he actually puts videos, teaching people how to do stuff, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
How to beat each other up.
How to do stuff. He's a second-degree black, and I don't know if all this is real because I took this off the internet. Second-degree black belt in Taekwondo. Third degree.
Third now.
Okay, third-degree background. He's a mixed martial artist. He's an instructor of Taekwondo, Jiu-Jitsu, Hapkido, and he's a competitive MMA fighter who's been basically like recuperating. Really, right? You've been recuperating since you had a little injury.
What happened?
Yeah. Well, it's not so much an injury. I got my last fight. I'll give you the story because it's hilarious. We look at this guy on paper and we're like, all right, we know what his plan is. He's gonna get in the cage and he's gonna bum rush me. And by the second round, he's gonna be tired. We expected this. We planned for this. We had this all in black and white ink for myself to follow along with. We get to the cage. I walk inside and I feel great. I'm dancing around. The cage locks. Ref says go. We step in there. And I look at this guy and I start moving around him. I touch him a couple times. I kick his leg a couple times. And then for some reason, I think he's a snake charmer. I just stop and look at his eyes. I just stop him. Just deadpan at him. And I think he didn't know what I was doing because he stops too. But his brain worked a half second faster than mine. He's like, oh, he's not gonna do shit, and just punched me really hard in the face. And it was called a flash knockout, where he hit me, I went out, and then I came back. And as I'm coming back to myself, like on the corner of the cage, trying to stand up, and this guy is still just over and over and over. Of course, he's trying to win. And but right about the time I get my footing and I'm able to, under my own power, stand up, the ref comes in and pulls him off me. And because I went out, they gave me a 90-day suspension under the impression that I'm going to go get an MRI scan and confirm that I don't have any brain damage from the incident. That then parlayed into my 90-day suspension plus whatever 365 minus 90 is of a vacation where I got really, really fat and did a couple of smaller competitions in between. So injury, less of an injury, more like just a tragic accident that I then kind of took advantage of, and now I'm trying to get back in the swing of fighting in the cage in front of a live audience.
I love it. Now, how do you?
Wait, hang on. Where can I find this guy?
I've got his Instagram handle if you want.
I'll take care of him.
Okay.
You won't mess with me.
Oh, send some people
You know
after
why?
me.
You know why?
Uh,
I'm from Brooklyn. And anybody from Brooklyn, you don't fool around with, because you know what? I could have 10 guys out there beat the shit out of him.
well, that's what I was thinking. We'd send a posse over there, you know.
Meanwhile, how's Summer? Summer is
yeah.
now. What is Summer to you? I'm not allowed to say. So what am I going to say?
She's my better half. She's my significant other, my partner in crime.
Oh, she's coming on?
Yes. Yeah,
so how's she doing?
I think she's doing excellent. Like you said, she's dropped a lot of weight, so she feels physically better all the time. She's still got a back injury from when she broke it about a year and some change ago, so she's still kind of on the mend from that. Mostly it's tissue damage, not bone related anymore. She's working on, God forbid, so many different projects. I lost count at this point because she's got companies.
Oh, I know, she's a genius.
Lifetime, ESPN, Bravo, all these people like, hey, do you have an idea for us? And she's like, well, I would like to work with your company. So yeah, let me find an idea for you and get the people together to do it. So there's been a lot of running around to sort that out. But her and my manager, Alexis, have just been working themselves all day and night. I have to schedule time with either one of them to get time.
They're both fabulous. We love them both.
I love
Alexis.
I really do, because
we talk to her the most.
Yeah. I can't stop looking at her face, because she has the most beautiful skin and features. She's just breathtakingly beautiful to me. Mm-hmm. And I don't like dark women. I always like blondes. Like Summer would have been more my type. You know, Summer's sexy and blonde.
Right.
But Alexis is really beautiful.
Jeff Caperton in the chat room says he can send some friends of his over to help.
Oh, thank you.
And you know what's nice about
their flights.
What's nice about Summer and Alexis is they're beautiful women, but they're not cunts.
Yeah, I like to think so. I mean, I'm a biased party. I'm Alexis' friend and Summer's my other. I could be as mad as I want and still defend them and be like, nope, they're not cunts. That's a good
point.
See,
we're on the outside and we think they're fantastic.
Yeah, but so
that means more.
Summer has you wrapped around her finger.
Yes.
I don't care what you say. Summer says jump and you jump.
I ask how high first, to be fair.
Yes, I do too.
What?
No, she's done so much for me, you know? So
I also want to brag some more. So not only, so you do all these things, and we'll talk because you have a free MMA where you do MMA and teach kids and stuff, but you also have done Los Angeles Fashion Week, I think at least twice, right? Modeled in Fashion Week?
I've done Los Angeles Fashion Week, 3 events, and I've walked for 5 different designers, and then a handful of other fashion walks and events as well, like LA Fashion Closet, and one for the Stars Fashion House in Los Angeles as well.
Yeah, we love that place. We went. We put on a red carpet event there, and it was fabulous.
Yeah, so what did you model? Extra large?
You know, I think the problem with me getting fatter over the period of time is that they started out having clothing readily available for me. I could just show up, put it on, and I'm good to go. And then as I put on weight, they're like, you should come in for a fitting beforehand. And they'd show up, and then they have something that kind of works. They may have to tailor it a little bit just to make sure it looks good on me when I walk down the runway. And in my last one, I think my last one was actually for Jacob Myers, the For the Stars.
Yeah.
He put it on me, and it's very obviously cutting into my body, but he's just like, "Fuck it, you look fine," and just send me on my way. So yeah, I would say extra large would be great. I'm rocking a size 36 waistband
That's
right
me.
now. That's the
That's-
highest I've been in a
I'm
long
30
time.
I'm at 36.
I love that For
Wait,
the
wait, wait.
Stars
I modeled in New York
for New York Fashion Week.
in New York Fashion
Oh, that's a
Week.
big one.
I was the only model with all the young guys. All the young guys had bodies of death. They were all muscle-bound, physical, culture guys in
Right.
bathing suits. Okay, they sent me my bathing suit. I was in the dressing room, and they sent a small. I'm not a small, and I'm quite endowed. So when I put the bathing suit on, I look like a cheap trick.
That was the point, maybe.
I don't know, but I had to walk the runway in that small bathing suit with one of my testicles, I think, falling out, slipping out a little bit.
They wanted to leave nothing.
fabulous.
But you know what?
Imagination.
All the women went nuts when I was walking on the runway. I wore boots. I had cowboy boots, that little teeny bathing suit, and no shirt. At about 80 years old, I think I was.
Yeah, it was about
I think
80.
I was 80. And the idea was that underwear could be worn sexy by an 80-year-old
By any age,
or
all
any
ages.
age.
You know what? Do you feel like you proved that?
Yeah, he proved it. He looked great.
Well, I was fat. I mean, I was a lot
There
of
you
weight.
go.
I was 220 pounds, so I didn't care for what I looked like.
Everybody else thought he looked great.
And they gave me that small bathing suit. And the guy that designed the bathing suits, when I came out of the dressing room, he said, "Does all of that? Does that work?" He looked at my crotch. He said, "Does that work?" I think because I'm 80, it doesn't work. Of course, it works.
Oh, I thought he meant the bathing suit.
I would have thought he meant the clothing, honestly.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought too.
He was actually hitting on you. I don't know if you took him up on the offer.
I turn everything around.
Jeff Caperton says nuts.
I make everything into a joke.
So also, you're a sports commentator at other fights, right?
Yes. I'll be my next event that I'm commentating on is August 9th at Dan Henderson Fight Night. Dan Henderson's a former UFC champion. He hosts fight nights every few months, and I'll be going to do my specialty there. And luckily for me, that he's one of my coaches, so I'm very much used to doing this for him. But yeah, I've done it for some larger organizations, one called Star, which is going to have its own reality TV show similar to The Ultimate Fighter coming out. I had the opportunity, and I think we're still doing it, but they pushed back their dates to do it for a larger jiu-jitsu competition over in Vegas. And I believe that one's combat jiu-jitsu, which means they can slap you when they're on the floor, which is hilarious. So we'll be getting a chance to talk about that too. But I've been doing it for a minute. It's actually what I want to parlay into post-fighting is being a talking head, essentially.
And you understand how it all goes.
A serious question.
Yes.
How did your MRI turn out?
Oh, well, I'm no more fucked up than I already was. So
What is it?
I'm no more fucked up than I already was.
I told you, I think what you do is dangerous.
it is.
And I think you should go in other areas. You're a talented guy. You're handsome. You could be an actor. You could be anything you want. Get the hell out of the cage, because it's dangerous. And you how old are you now? 25?
26. I'm gonna be 27 here in a little bit.
Okay, so I think you should change career.
What is the age range for MMA fighters? Like usually they don't hit their peak till they're older, right?
No, now
So,
that he's bigger.
the prime of any man generally is going to range from mid-20s to mid-30s. That's like you're getting your most power, your muscles, your tendons, the fibers in your body. They're pushing, pumping at their best, right? And you look your best typically. So the average aging out of a competitive fighter is between mid-30s and early 40s. Very few anomalies are still fighting in their 40s, and it's even more rare than that they're good at it. Normally, if you have to, it's because you didn't make your money during the early stages or you didn't use it properly. So now you're broke and you have to fight to keep going. And what we see now a lot of days in combat sports, the biggest organizations are taking some of the youngest, most talented athletes, younger than me, 18, 19, whatever, and they're throwing them into the fire because they can make superstars out of them for like a year and a half. And then when they get
big money,
then they get all fucked up, some kind of permanent injury, and then they get shifted out, and we bring in the next batch.
So
that's disgusting.
Hang on. Is Conor McGregor an MMA fighter? Like, what is Conor McGregor?
He was an MMA fighter, and he's technically still on the company's roster as a competitor, but he hasn't fought in years. I don't think he's ever really going to fight again. I do think he's done, but it's what he did.
But he made a lot of money, right? He made a lot of money.
He made money because he was smart. Like a lot of fighters, and this is not a diss, I have this mentality too from time to time where I think fighting is the end all be all. It's good enough. Pay me what I'm worth, and I'm not going to work any extra hard for that. Conor said, okay, I know fighting's not going to make me jack, but I need to be wealthy. I need to be the best. So I'm going to take my first paycheck. I'm going to invest in a PR team. I'm going to have someone make a documentary about me. I'm going to promote the hell out of myself. And that made him the money. If he just fought and won, 10,000 to win, 10,000 to show up, maybe 60,000 if he did really, really great, and eventually got 100 grand for a fight when he was well known. But because of what he did, he was making millions before he was even out of his first year with the company. So it's more like you got to be able to promote yourself. You have to be able to be a public figure, not just fight and compete and hope that eventually you get recognized. It's very much being in the entertainment business. You can't hope to get scouted. You can't hope to be found by somebody. You got to put yourself in the situation. You got to put yourself out there. You got to go to these I know they're not called tryouts, but you got to go to when you're trying to get a role in a movie or a part as a model somewhere. You have to put yourself out there. Audition. Thank you. So yeah, that's what he did.
I think because like he transitioned, because he was pretty good in Roadhouse. Did you see Roadhouse? I mean, it wasn't a great movie, but he wasn't bad.
Yeah, I did see Roadhouse. Yes.
Who's that?
He's the guy we're talking about, the MMA fighter who did a movie with Jake Gyllenhaal. Jake Gyllenhaal was ripped in
I have
that
no
movie.
idea who you're talking about.
And anyway, that's okay. So then what about there was Conor McGregor, and then there's one other. So I don't know the name of the movie. I can't think of it right now, but it's all about MMA, and it stars Tom Hardy, and he's like a military guy who goes and he ends up fighting his brother.
Yeah, it's called Warrior.
Warrior. That's like the greatest movie ever.
It's for as far as combat sports films go, and how realistic they have to cut it down in order to work in a movie. That's one of the most realistic films I've ever seen as far as combat goes. Because sometimes you get a lot of hinky, weird shit because you're forced to do it for the sake of the movie. Things don't look right on camera, or maybe it's for the safety of the stuntmen or actors. But as far as like, you look at, if you watch a movie, you have a grand understanding of what it means to fight in a cage. That's a very good way to look at it.
Okay, because I love that movie, and I like all the fight movies. We've had a lot of like Don the Dragon Wilson people, kind of like that do the karate stuff. Eric Roberts, Best of the Best. We've had a bunch of those people on the show, and I love those movies just in general. I think they're like a lot of fun.
The only movies that I like with fighting are Jason Statham, because it's an impossibility that one human could beat 10 people up in a minute.
Yeah,
and he knocks them all out. One punch and you get knocked out. I've been punched plenty in my day, never got knocked out. That's bullshit. You really have to hit somebody super duper hard to knock them out. Not movie punches. Believe it or not, as a gay man, I had to fight a lot because growing up, I was called names that I didn't like.
Right?
And I had to prove myself as a tough guy. My father was a boxer for sport. My father boxed for sport, and he taught my sister and I how to box. I could box with you, not hit you, but, I know the moves.
Yeah.
Uppercut, right, all the shit that goes with it. But I'm so anti-violence. I really think that the sport you do, I'm not approving of. Because to make money, to beat hurting another human, why? It's crazy. I would rather go to a movie and see you as a star in the movie.
Fighting.
No.
You could be an action star.
No. I could see him making love to Charlize Theron.
Now, I could see you as like a young Jason Statham, like doing those kinds of things.
No violence.
No, because he's good at that's what he's good at.
Yeah, but we
don't have the next big action star. Listen,
we have too much violence in movies. All they do in movies is kill each other, shoot each other, beat each other up, club each other, or zombies eat each other. That's all we have in film. We're teaching the young people violence. We're teaching the young people to be karate experts so they can do karate. How about we teach the young to be intelligent and to do things that are better for
Those
them?
movies won't sell.
Okay. Here's where we're gonna have a difference of opinion. I love this. I love that this is where we're at right now. I think personally that martial arts and combat sports is the 100% correct roadway to nonviolence. And I'm gonna explain it like this. Yes, I am fighting another human being in a controlled environment for other people's entertainment. Now, if I take that knowledge and I go to my gym and I teach my students, my children, hey, this is what can happen in a real fight. If you get into a real fight where someone's watching you, you can get elbowed in the head. You can get slammed on the top of your head. You can be kicked in your chest and have break ribs. That can happen under the best case scenario with another person in there looking out for your safety who has the right and ability to say stop at any point. Now you take that and you go into the streets. You get into a bar fight, you get into a school fight, and now that kid grabs a brick and beats you upside the head with it. You're brain dead, your family misses you, you're like a vegetable, and that kid goes to jail, 5 years, 10 years because he's a juvenile? So what? He's out. He's out and he just put you in a hospital bed for the rest of your life. So why would you bother getting in that fight? Why wouldn't you walk away? Why wouldn't you choose a better method of handling that situation? And so, yes, it is violent, absolutely. But I can use that as an example to teach my kids to do better. And when they go and they train and they learn, oh, getting punched in the face sucks. And that's with a glove, a protective pad. Oh, this guy just choked me. That was so uncomfortable. But he stopped because he's my friend. He's my training partner. The guy in the street's not going to stop. The girl in the street's not going to stop if you're a young lady. So why get into the fight? Why not look for an alternative way to get out of it?
It's discipline. It's like
Yes.
discipline. It teaches discipline. Martial arts is supposed to teach discipline.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'm talking
I got the
about,
wrong idea.
I'm talking about the violence in film. I'm an actor. I make movies, okay? But I won't be in a movie where it's bloody and gutty. Jimmy knows that. If a script comes on my desk that's disgusting, I won't do it. I'm not a slasher actor. I'm an actor who portrays a person doing a story. When you have to depend on slashing and guts and crap like that, you don't have a film anymore. You have entertainment for sick people. Because I think, listen, we went to our very good friend Marcel Waltz's premiere of his movie. They blew a guy's dick off. You saw the dick. No, I'm not. Don't laugh.
God.
Don't laugh. The guy is laying on a gurney, and they put, I don't know, dynamite around his dick, and you saw the dick explode and fly all over the screen. Now, when you have to go that far to get a film to work, it's sad. So I said to Marcel, next you're going to see them put cherry bombs up a woman's snatch and blow her snatch off. You know what he said to me? Oh, that's been done already.
I thought he was going to say good idea.
He said, I thought you were going to say good idea.
No, I think that's disgusting. You know, it's not necessary.
Yeah, he's right about that. There's a lot of things.
Fair.
No, I love Julianne Moore. She's one of my favorite actresses. In a movie, she sat on a toilet bowl and took a shit, wiped her ass, looked at the toilet paper, threw it in the toilet bowl, and flushed. Ever since then, I can't look at Julianne Moore anymore because it was disgusting. Why was that in a film? What was necessary about that? And I feel the same way about unnecessary violence.
Unless you're Jason.
Yeah, I can get that. Absolutely.
No,
You don't
let's
need to
not
see
do
all
a
that.
whole movie of guts and killing and eyeballs falling out because people out there are weak-minded and they're sickos. And they're doing that now in the streets.
I like the martial arts film. So Best of the Best is like one of my all-time
Martial arts is different.
I know, but he's a martial artist, so that's why
But I wasn't talking about
I know, but I'm
him.
changing the subject. I'm changing it.
Well,
Best of the Best is like
now
my
you're gonna
favorite
go.
movie of all time. It's one of my favorite. We had a guy on recently, and he has a movie called The Last Kumite, you know, where like they're like fighting and it had all these famous fighters in it. Cynthia Rothrock and everybody. I love those movies. I've loved them ever since I was a kid.
Our very best friend, my best friend, and his is Sean Kanan. And Sean Kanan is in that
Cobra Kai. He's Cobra Kai. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's different. That's an art film. It's not I can't explain.
There's story and substance behind it. It's not entertaining by way of graphic violence. Or
It's just not violent. I can't understand how some people go to the fights, and when the man is bleeding and he's beaten up, they stand up and they cheer. How could you cheer the pain that man is feeling at that moment? I feel empathy and pity.
So wait, when are you going back into the ring? Like, do you have any fights, big fights scheduled? Or
No, he's going to go. He's going to be an actor.
Specifically, my next round of fighting is going to be in Mexico City in November. I think it's the 9th through the 14th or 10th through the 15th. And it's 5 days of matches. It's going to be a bracket. And I'm going to go through my first day, have one or two. And then if I win well, I move on to the next day and so on and so forth. Even if I lose, I'm guaranteed at least a day or two because there's going to be people who lose their matches and then have to do like a sudden death kind of thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like in tennis, they do like original round, the main rounds, and then they have all the people who lose in the first round. They make a whole nother bracket for them to compete in. You know,
yes. And you get your opportunity to work your way back in.
Yes, and you get to work your way back
in. And avoid getting hit in the head.
Yes,
actually, that's a good point you make right there. With 5 days of combat, the strategy is you can't take too much damage because you get hurt day one and you're still forced to go to day 2 or 3. The other guy's going to have a field day, jacking you up even more because you're already damaged. So the game plan for anyone out there who might be competing the same thing is I'm just going to get in there. I'm going to get close enough to lift the guy up, sit him on his back aggressively, and then I'm going to sit upon him until the round is over, racking up as much points as I can. And we're going to rinse and repeat that until they stop the match. This way I can avoid getting hurt and maybe not the other guy get hurt a little bit, but at least I have sustained no damage. And now I can move on to the next day successful and feel happy and confident and healthy as best I can.
What weight class will you be fighting in November?
You just take good care of yourself, okay?
He doesn't want anything to happen to you.
I do understand, and I will do my absolute best for that. For your question, Jimmy, 195.
Okay.
Listen, if anything bad ever happened to you, I would be very upset. Very, because I
don't want to disappoint
you very much. I told you're like my son. I like you like my own kid.
So let's talk a little bit about your free MMA program, because you teach. You basically, that's a way that you're giving back to the community and teaching the discipline of it all to other people. Tell us a little bit about what it is.
Yes. So Free MMA is a nonprofit where I teach and monitor other teachers, give knowledge of martial arts, combat sports, whatever it might be, to youth, adult, and seniors. I start at age 6 all the way up to 106, which is just my funny way of saying be as old as you want. If you can functionally walk on your feet and throw a punch, you should come in and take the class. And I've done that now for the last 6 years now, 2018, 7 years now. And hopefully the goal is to make more of them, put them more around the country. I would like one in every state, maybe not as individual business, but as a program that kids and adults, whoever can go be a part of at their local community center. I just want to have it available to anyone who normally could not afford to reap the benefits of martial arts without this program being alive. So if I can keep making more, it's good. I know that I'm thinking about opening up other businesses alongside of it. Like I'm going to do a laundromat in one of them, and that's going to sustain its rent, its utilities. Hang
on.
That's smart.
You're going to open a laundromat?
Correct. I'm going to start a string of.
What does that mean?
The start of the fighting center, a laundromat to take care of all the laundry, which will sustain itself because
you could be an actor. What do you want to be a laundromat? What are you out of your fucking mind?
Well, I don't want to be a laundromat. I want to own clothes.
He doesn't want to be it. He wants to own it. Laundromats make a ton of money.
Jimmy will put. I will see to it that Jimmy will give you a role in one of his movies, and we will see how you do. And if you fare well, you have a career. You make a lot of money. Sometimes.
Sometimes
you've got to know I have like no acting experience. I'm a personality, so I would.
You don't have. Listen, today nobody has acting experience. I mean, they have all these pay-to-play people. They don't know their asses from their elbows. They pay to be in a movie, and they stand there like deers with their eyes in the headlights.
Yeah.
They're so frightened that
I don't think you would have any problem at all, number one, because it's kind of like musical performers. Like, I believe that most popular, like Lady Gaga and people like that, the reason she's such a good actor is because that's what she's doing all the time on stage. Basically, you're an MMA fighter and a podcast host. You're on stage all the time.
And I will tell you, my advice to you, there's only one trick to acting. One trick. Become the part. Become the character. If you cannot become the character, you're not an actor. When I work, I become the person that my script tells me. I don't even know myself anymore. Truthfully, I'm like a psycho, like some kind of a schizophrenic nut. I become the person. How come I did that? Because when I impersonated Jane Russell in drag all those years, I had to leave being a man and become a woman. So I really trained myself. When I worked on stage as a woman, I didn't know I was a man anymore. I automatically became a woman. And that's my secret to acting. And I'm considered a very good actor by many, right?
Yes.
Only
I think you would be really good at
that mindset. Okay.
because I become the character. And that's the only advice I could give to you.
So let's go back to MMA.
Yeah.
Train yourself to become the character, and you'll
just like you are, you become the fighter. It's
exactly.
The same thing.
You have that ability.
You know, I've seen videos of you fighting. So we have a friend, Antonio Sabato Jr. He was a big Calvin Klein model, and he's been in a bunch of movies and TVs. And he's doing a celebrity boxing.
He was married to Virginia Madsen.
He's doing a very big boxing match, I think, in Pennsylvania. It's like a celebrity boxing, match.
Oh,
so
nice.
You as a celebrity, if you were going to like do an MMA fight with like another celebrity person who was going to also MMA fight, who do you think would be fun to fight?
Tom Hardy.
Oh, really? That would be awesome.
First thought, because he's not just he started as an actor, yes, and he got into martial arts later, but he's now like a legitimate martial arts competitor. He goes out there and he's choking dudes unconscious on the mats. Like he's real. And so I know that if I go in there, it's competitive, it's fun, it's an actor I love to watch all the time. He's whether it's a movie or a TV show he's been a part of, I enjoy all of his roles. Him and the guy who played the Punisher in the Netflix series, and he was part of The Walking Dead for the first 2 seasons as the cop's partner, as Rick's partner. I loved both those guys.
Oh, that guy. Oh, I've met him. I have pictures with him. I've met him. He's so popular now you can't get him because we tried to get him for a movie and they were like he's booked for 4 years or something.
Yeah, he's
now I forgot his name, what his name is. But yes, he's great. And he's a really nice guy too. It's funny, I met him at a convention and he has a dog, and it was like a pit bull, like a mean pit bull sitting there with him. And I was like, that doesn't seem like really smart to me to bring a pit bull to like a thing where fans are like getting autographs signed and pictures and stuff, but he was very nice, and he's a great actor. He's in The Accountant. The Accountant too. And I think that Tom Hardy is probably one of the best actors out there now. Anybody who doesn't know who he is, besides the movie Warrior, that everybody should watch because it's really good. I when I'm watching on YouTube Shorts, they always have all these, or Facebook Shorts, they always have all the shorts of his very first fight in the gym with the guy who thinks he's so tough, and he says, "Yo, Paulie, where'd you get your stuff?" And
did you ever have a fight with anybody, a fist fight?
Yes.
I don't believe that.
Only once.
I don't believe that.
I don't care if you believe it or not. I'm not a fighter.
He's not a fighter.
I'm not a fighter.
He's not.
I'm one of the,
he runs away from me. When I'm mad.
Wait, I'm not finished. I'm talking. So anyway, Tom Hardy, you guys, is Venom. For anybody who doesn't know, Tom Hardy is Venom, which is fabulous. And I'll tell you a story. So when I was in college, I was in a fraternity, and we were the jock fraternity. I was in the jock fraternity because I'm a kick-ass tennis player back then. Matter of fact, I went undefeated in intramural tennis all 4 years I was there. I never lost, and I was the best player in it.
That's good. That's incredible.
I had a big mouth, and so one night at like 3:00 in the morning, we were all eating, and somebody made a comment. Some dude sitting at the table next to me made like a comment, like a nasty comment, and I told him to go fuck himself. And he got up, and when he got up to stand up, 50 guys stood up behind me. And they were going to kick his ass. So I don't ever fight. Like people always just make sure I don't get hurt.
That's good. That's good though. There's support.
When we have a fight, I say to him, "I'm going to kill you, you fuck." And I run after him, and he runs through the house.
I don't
run through the house screaming like a girl. I say, "You little fag, you little girl, I'm going to beat the shit out of you, Mary. You little girl." I love to do it. I love to torture him.
We have fun. It's fun, everybody. You guys, we're talking. It's all fun. It's not like serious because we don't want the viewers to think that it's real.
No, it's not.
I was calling the cops right now.
You know what I say to Jimmy? You're a girl. You're a girl.
So did you always want to be an MMA fighter? Like, how did you get into it in the first place, and when did you start?
No, I wanted to be in music when I was like 17, and I found a band. We actually recorded songs, and then before we went to any shows, I just decided no, and just never drove up the mountain again. I totally ghosted these guys. I don't know where they are in life, what they're doing. I actually kind of feel bad about it as an adult. And I went to my mother, and I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work out for me, but I don't really know what I'm going to do. And she's like, well, I paid for 20,000 hours of martial arts. How about you go do something with that? And so she thought, okay, this guy's going to go off and start a business. He's going to go open a gym. He's going to go teach. He's going to go do the thing he's been doing for the last 5 years at this point. He knows what that is. And then I come back because I had met a garage gym, which, by the way, garage gym is like, what would be the equivalent? It'd be like if the guy who's starting an indie film, right? He's trying to make a film, has never done it before, and he's unwilling to learn from anyone else in the industry, and he's just started hiring random people off the street to come and be a part of this film. And he's like recording with his phone the whole time. That's the equivalent of going to a garage gym. It's usually coached by someone who's never done it and is unwilling to go to an actual gym. And he just brought on people who he convinced would be good at fighting to come and beat the shit out of each other in his house for a couple hours a night. And these guys had told me like, hey, when I found a cage fight, he's so excited. I found a company that will put you guys into a match if you want to do it. And I thought, I don't know what a cage fight is, but that sounds fun. Let's do it. And so I said yes. They got my name in there. I got my whatever information to the company. I went and told my mother, hey, I'm gonna have a cage fight, and she damn near slapped me. Because she's like, the fuck you doing? You're having a cage fight. But she eventually got around the thought of it, and she's now my number one fan. She comes to all my fights. If my hands fall down in the fight, she screams at me to put my hands up, and they do. It's incredible. My coaches don't get it. But I didn't really know what I was going to do. And I knew I wanted to, I think I always had it in my heart to be somewhere on stage, but in what capacity, what does that mean to me? And can I make a positive influence out of it? Can I do something good for the world? And I found combat sports. And so now I give back in a similar way where I teach people what they can do in a fight. If they ever want to do competitions too, which I have a small team, 5 people who do compete for the gym and represent the gym when they go out there, and kickboxing right now, not yet MMA, soon enough. They can do that. They want a career for it. I have the contacts to help them get to higher places if that's what they want to do. But
I love it.
yeah, just figuring it out one step at a time.
I think it's super
What
cool.
are some of, I know this, I've asked some of this question in person, but I'll do it for our audience. What does Summer think about your career?
My better half thinks that she doesn't like me to get hurt, but she does think that this was a good career move. She finds that I'm very good at it and I don't get hurt very often. So as long as I can continue to not get fucked up and become a vegetable, she will support it. She will support it.
I know. I think it's really fun, and I actually think that because we should talk a little bit about. We only have a few minutes, but talk about your TikTok. Like in your TikTok, in your Instagram, you really give people pointers and teaching people things. Like you will make a great coach, and you can also turn this into being a coach of a team of people.
Yeah.
And things like that. And it can be a very rewarding career choice as one thing of all the many things you're going to be doing, because you do so many things anyway. So I think it's very cool that you're doing
a lot of very famous prize fighters over the years opened up schools and became teachers and coaches because they were no longer able to fight.
But you have to fight a little bit first to be able to do that, so people know you can do it.
The last fight that we just had with what's his name, the old man. What the fuck, was he nuts? He went in to fight that young guy.
Oh, he's talking about Mike Tyson and Logan Paul.
Oh, it was Jake Paul and Mike Tyson went and fought.
We knew Tyson was going to lose. He's too old.
Yeah, I mean, people always speculate, especially when they look at that fight, because there's training footage of him doing really good in a sparring match. He's lighting the guy up. He looks like he looks better than he ever has. And then he goes out there and he basically fumbles it in front of the audience. Now, a lot of people look at it and think, well, he obviously took a dive. He must have been paid to make Jake Paul look good. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But what they don't take into account is how good was that training partner? How old was that training partner? It looked like another middle-aged man. Maybe he doesn't have the same level of experience. Jake Paul, for as much shit as I'll give him, is a young athlete with a lot of power. He will absolutely, if you give him a chance, put you to sleep. That's just going to happen. He's got the hands for it. So Mike Tyson's got that going for him in his mind. He knows he's 60 years old. He knows he's not going to move around the same way.
I
And-
actually saw stuff
Wait,
online.
hang on.
Yeah.
Did you know that I won the Golden Gloves?
I think you did tell me that, yes.
I won the Golden Gloves, and they were gold lame, and they came all the way up to here.
You're so full of shit. I saw
No, I
something.
don't think so anymore.
That's an old joke.
I saw.
Wait, hang on. That's a joke I used to do in my show.
I saw.
And people would crack up. I said, "Oh yeah, they're gold lame. They come all the way up to here."
I saw stuff though online, and I don't know if any of it's true because you never know what you can believe. That like Mike Tyson had health problems right before the fight. He had like he had a heart attack. No, I read stuff that said he had a heart attack right before the fight, like literally, like right before the fight and stuff. And they didn't want to cancel the fight, so they kept it going and stuff. So you don't really know what's real and what's not real, but I wouldn't want to fight. I mean, Jake Paul's he's a big rich dude.
Yeah, and that said, he's choosing to fight because it's another great way to promote himself in whatever businesses he's doing.
Yeah, he's smart.
Honestly, the guys who want to fight when they don't have a reason to are probably, you got two guys. People who fall into this typically get beaten out pretty quickly. But the two types that stay are the ones that have everything and still want to fight, and the ones that have nothing and fight to make something of themselves. Those are two people you probably see do the best. We have a champion right now in the UFC named Ilia Topuria, and his family is loaded. They are just great. They are far greater than 99% of the 99% of the world. But he fights because he wants to do it. And that tells you that he has nothing to lose. He's willing to put it all on the line. And even with every benefit in the world, with every opportunity, he chooses to come and beat you up. That guy's going to work harder than most other people ever will. Same thing with people trying to work their way out of the favelas in Brazil or out of the slums in the United States, because what else are they going to do? They have to fight to make a living. So they get good at it and they're comfortable doing it. So that's why when you see him fight, people don't give him enough credit. As much as I think he's a bad fighter, he's still willing to get in there and do it, even though has millions. So he's going to be putting everything he's got into it, and he can afford the best training.
I love it.
Okay, so how do you feel about transsexuals being in an arena with a male fighter? How's that going to?
Well, here's the thing. We did see it once. There was a guy who was a former Marine. He had some fights. He lost his fights, and then he transitioned. He went through the whole process. He got on the chemicals. He basically went through. He was post-operation, and he went in and fought a young lady, and it was not a breeze. She messed him up for 3 out of 3 rounds, but he won because I say he. I don't know if that's disrespectful. She got the win based off points. She took her down. She stayed on top. She was smart, but kickboxing wise, she got jacked up. It was bad. So can it be competitive? Possibly. Is it going to be competitive most of the time, especially if we had a dude who was on a really good win streak and then decided to shift down because he felt a way about himself that made him believe that he needs to transition. So now she's fighting in the female divisions? No, I don't think that is at all fair at that point in any capacity.
It's different. Post-operative and before operative is totally different. Like yes. I know because when I was a great tennis player all through high school.
Oh, well, you were really.
And so I used to practice. I was at a tournament and I practiced with Bonnie Gadusek and Kathy Rinaldi. They were like number 2 and number 5 in the world of like Chris Evert, like Venus Williams and them, and I beat them.
Yeah.
Number 35 in the state of Florida, and I beat the best women players in the whole world. So I know it's not fair because it's not. I don't mean the best for their age. I mean, the best,
like, just across the board.
Right? Yeah. They were top 10 women tennis players in the world, winning Wimbledon and all those tournaments, and I beat them. And I was.
That's because they thought you were a girl.
No. So my point being, it really is not fair, and I think I just don't think it's appropriate. So I think it's something that needs to be not happen. But I think that I thought you were going to say the trainees in the middle holding up the numbers, draft. in their bikinis. I didn't know you were going to say fighting. I thought you meant like because they have ring girl. I don't know if they have
That'd
ring
be a
girl.
ring girl. I mean, you can
They have
pull
ring
that
girls
off. Yeah, you can pull that off without having an operation if you wanted to.
Yes, that's funny. All right, so so first of all, you guys, Bear's Instagram is at Bear Fiorda. His TikTok is at Bear Fiorda, so it's at Bear Fiorda on everything.
Yep.
How do they find out more about your free MMA program?
They can follow that page itself, which is at free MMA gyms with an S at the end. And that's the same thing on all platforms, no caps, no space, no nothing.
There you go. So that's how you can find it, you guys. Actually, I'm going to keep you on a few minutes longer because our next guest isn't here, so we might as well not have me and Ron talking. We'll talk with you instead.
Well, first I want a message sent to Summer and Alexis. Give them a kiss for me.
They're probably there someplace.
Alexis is not here. Summer's in the back of the house. I will let her know. And I'll send Alexis a message.
We really should get back to having lunch again.
Yes, that'd be very good. We haven't done it in too long, honestly.
Yeah.
Thank you again, by the way, for having us over for dinner that night. It was beautiful.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
What?
And when they came over to our house for dinner.
They came to our house for dinner?
Yeah.
You prepared like this amazing Italian dinner for all of us.
I did?
He doesn't even remember. He remembers going to the deli.
I don't remember you coming to our house.
Yeah. You were fighting back and forth with Summer because I was trying to lose a few extra pounds before my fight, and you're like, he's fine, and you're trying to pile on more pasta onto the plate.
Dude. They think in the chat room they're sending me messages. They think you'd make a great action hero in movies. So
maybe one day.
We're going to save his life. We're going to put him in film.
Put him in something.
We're going to save me. Ultimately, my goal is to make more nonprofits. So as long as I make the money to create that, that's all I care about.
Good for you. That's very nice. All right, everybody, follow Bear Fiorda. We'll let you know if when he's got things coming up that you might be able to see. Follow him on Instagram and TikTok, and the beautiful Summer that we've been talking about is coming on the show next week, so you'll get to meet her next week.
And she's a great talker, and she's a smart woman.
Yes,
so that's going to be a very smart show. Because this broad could run the country.
Definitely.
I think she does.
All right, Bear, thank you. Say hi to everybody.
Bear,
we'll see you soon.
Well.
Thank you guys so much. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Take care, baby. Stay well.
Yay. All right, you guys. So that was Bear Fiorda. He's very cool. He lives here. They live near us down the street someplace. And now we're going to bring on our next guest. And our next guest name is Jim Piddock. I think that's how you pronounce it. So let's bring him on and see if I get it right. Hello.
Very good. Yeah, Piddock, whatever you like.
There you go. Are you British? You sound a little British.
I am a little British. I lived in America for 44 years, but I still have this Moroccan accent. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Well, welcome. All right, let me do a little intro for everybody. All right, everybody. Now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, actor, writer, producer Jim Piddock. Hello and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We're happy to have you. This is my cool, outrageous man about town co-host, Mr. Ron Russell. And you're on vacation, right? Where are you?
No, I'm not on vacation. I'm in my French house. I live in Provence now. I moved from LA about a month ago.
Oh, you live there? Wow, he lives in Provence. That's nice.
Yeah.
Now I have no intention of speaking to you.
In Provence and London, I split my time.
I'm stuck here in the fucking desert, Palm Springs.
It's hot as hell.
121 in sand blowing.
Oh God, it's been
I'd much rather be in France.
It's pretty hot here, but not that hot. That's Africa hot. Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah, it's fair. Like 113 yesterday.
Wow.
And it's going to get hotter in August, so it's going to be terrible. So we're very happy to have you on the show.
I love where you are in France. Provence is beautiful.
It's lovely.
So now, how do you get now when you have to do a movie? You just fly to them because most of them are shot in America. I'm going to assume.
Well, not really now. No, I mean I haven't shot anything in LA for probably about 7 or 8 years. It's always somewhere else. It's in Canada or in Europe or
a lot of people in Canada.
Out of state, wherever. So it came to the point where I didn't need to be in LA anymore, and I've always kind of had a dream of moving to the south of France. So after 40 years in LA, I made the decision.
No, that's super cool. I've been there many times, but I can't imagine living, France.
Yeah, me too. I love French.
It's fun. I love it. So
They say the French people are not nice. They're very rude. I found that if I spoke American, they weren't so nice. But if I spoke Italian, which I am, it was a different treatment, totally different treatment.
Yeah.
Do you speak French?
I do speak French, not particularly well, but enough to get by. And they love it when you try. They don't care how bad it is. The people are very friendly here. I mean, what I've learned I bought this place, 18 months ago, and so finally moved here full time. I find they're more reserved than British people, French people. But once you break through, they're unbelievably kind. I mean, we've been welcomed with open arms, and people are so willing to help without any expectation of anything in return. And so, I'm not saying America is transactional, but so many places are transactional, and it's nice to find people who are willing just to be good for the sake of being good.
I love it. I think I've always gotten along. I used to be a clothing designer, so like everybody liked me when I was anywhere in Europe, and we're like this podcast in England, like we're in like the top 10 TV film podcasts in England, so we're popular in your home, in your other native country that you go back and forth from. So it's a lot of fun. So you've been in everything and you've done everything. One of the things that I when I originally reached out to you is the fact that you're like in all the Christopher Guest movies, and I think those are the funniest movies that have ever been made.
Well, yeah, it's a great group. I mean, it's certainly the funniest group of improvisers probably in the world. I think they've been called that by many people, including Ricky Gervais. I felt very privileged to be a part of that. And then I wrote with Chris. I wrote a film with Chris and a TV show. So I was very involved, and I ended up producing as well with them. So it's kind of been, one of those wonderful things that you fall into and you cherish. I mean, I'll always enjoy the memories of everything we did.
So you guys, one of them is Best in Show. I don't know if everybody's seen it, but you should have seen it. It was, from some time ago. But I mean, listen to the cast. First of all, Jennifer Coolidge is in it.
I love her.
Jay Brazeau is in it. Catherine O'Hara and Eugene Levy from Schitt's Creek. You guys, this is way before Schitt's Creek, but they're from Schitt's Creek. Michael Hitchcock, Parker Posey, who's great. And then that same cast of people, a lot of those people did all the other For Your Consideration. I think isn't A Mighty Wind is a Christopher Guest film too, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Mighty Wind, For Your Consideration. Mascots, Chris and I wrote together for Netflix. Family Tree with Chris O'Dowd was a series we did for HBO, the BBC series, which I wrote with Chris and produced, who were also in. So yeah, I've done a lot of stuff with them.
I love it. But Best in Show is probably my favorite because we're dog people. We only have one dog now because unfortunately 2 of them passed away not too long ago. But we love dogs. He's sleeping in the bed right next to us. And so that to me was like such a great show and kind of like a narrative of like the Westminster Dog Show, like how funny all the behind the scenes of how it all happens. And you guys are hilarious. I forgot who you do the announcing with. The guy from WKRP in Cincinnati, I think.
Well, it's Fred Willard.
Yeah, Fred Willard.
The great Fred Willard.
And that shit is so funny and it's so much fun. So like I really enjoyed it. I've actually enjoyed almost you're one of the few guests that come on that I've actually seen almost everything, all the movies, not all the TV shows, but I've seen almost all the movies that you've done. Let's brag a little. We got Independence Day, you guys, Lethal Weapon 2, The Prestige, which you love that movie. The Prestige. Remember the movie The Prestige? Anyway, you love it because we've seen it about 5 times. With Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale and Piper Perabo and Michael Caine and everybody. The 5-Year Engagement. You also are big in all the comedies, because these are all like huge comedies. The Cold Light of Day, which we just saw that during COVID not too long ago. And I'm upset that Henry Cavill's not the new Superman. Like they didn't keep him. Get Him to the Greek. And then in television, you've been on everything. Mad About You, Friends, Lost, 2.5 Men, The Drew Carey Show, ER, Castle, Modern Family. And then you did a movie called Falling Up, and we've had half the cast. Daniel Newman's been on the show, Joseph Cross. We love Mimi Rogers. Snoop Dogg is in it, Rachel Lee Cook we've had, and Ed O'Toole's been on it. We haven't had her. Joe Pantoliano, I'm doing a movie that he's probably going to be in. And I just saw the other day, which he won't watch because he doesn't like it, but I've seen it about 10 times because I just think it's hilarious. And that's Who's Your Caddy, which I know you don't have a big role in it, but it's a very funny movie. And I like that whole hip hop culture thing with it. And I actually know the hip hop actor guys. I met them all at the Source Awards many years ago, so I watched it because of that.
I think it would be fun working with Jennifer. Was it?
Yeah, Jennifer's great. She's one of the great improvisers.
Jennifer Coolidge.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love her. I just think she's hilariously funny.
Now she's doing all the Discover Card commercials here in America.
And two friends of ours live in the same neighborhood she does. And they told us stories about her, that she was having her roof retiled. And the stories that went with it were hilarious. I don't want to tell because it's private stuff. But the stories that went with it were hilarious because she genuinely is a very strange woman in person.
Oh yeah, she's completely bonkers. She's exactly like the character she plays.
She's completely bonkers.
I mean, listen, she's got obviously an awareness that what she's doing. You know, I remember before Mikey Wynn, she went up to Chris Guest and I was standing there talking to Chris, and she said, "I've got two voices for this character," and she did one very silly voice and then another very silly voice, and then Chris just went number two, and that was it.
Well, she's a rising star, that's for sure.
Well, she's a risen star. She's a risen star.
She's getting to be very, very popular.
But in the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, I mean, she was always popular back when she did all those movies, and then she kind of disappeared a little. And now she's every time you turn the TV, she's on, in America at least. Every time you turn the TV on,
and she's lost a lot of weight, and she looks gorgeous.
Yeah, I think White Lotus was the thing that everyone really, became aware of.
Yes.
I there's a film that we have that we wanted her to play one of the leads. So there's a chance that I may be working with her down the road.
If I get the money, when I get the money.
I get the
money. Money is hard. I produce a lot of films, but getting the money is the hard part. So we'll have to see how it goes. So then, how do you like differentiating between, because you've done a lot of comedies. Well, I guess even Independence Day could be considered like a comedy. It's like a comedy thriller. It's got a lot of fun in it. So basically, you've put a little bit of comedy in everything. How did you figure out that you're good at this comedy shit?
Well, I think the only gift I was given from birth was timing. So comedy was obvious for me. And the first half of my career, at least the first 2/3, pretty much all comedy. And then in the last third, last 10, 15 years, I've done a lot more drama and horror films. And I think I have a face that used to make people laugh and now terrifies them. So I don't know.
So wait, what horror movies have you been in?
I was in The Haunting of the Queen Mary.
Okay.
The Haunting of Bly Manor, which was on Netflix. I've just done a lot more drama, oddly, as I get older. But yeah, I mean, comedies was where I cut my teeth on Broadway. I was in comedies with George C. Scott, and I was in the first production of Noises Off, which is on Broadway. So comedy was always my thing, and then sitcoms and comedy films, and then as I said, I think it happens to a lot of actors when you think back. They all move into drama in their later years. Will Ferrell, Billy Crystal, Robin Williams. A lot of them all end up doing dramas.
Yes. I like it. I think I like, because in the chat room they're talking about they're talking about how great which movies everybody likes.
The Haunting of the Queen Mary.
Yeah, I mean, I played the captain of the Queen Mary, and it was fun. It was a great role. I get to play, kind of almost a John Wayne type character. I have my moment.
I thought it was a pretty well done film. It was interesting for a ghosty movie. Spooky. It was not a slasher. It was a spooky movie. And
I like the slasher.
When we lived in Pennsylvania, down in one of the harbors is the ship. Not the Queen Mary, the other one. What was it? And it's still there, rusty and old. And I said to Jimmy, we've got to do a movie on it because it's scary looking. It's one of the one of the great ocean liners, maybe the United States it is. I don't know what it is. I forgot the name of it. But I think ships make the best spooky movies because I've been on them. You know, I used to travel across Europe in the olden days because I'm 85. So when I was 17 and 18, I was on the Queen Mary, the United States, the Christopher Columbus, and the Julius Caesar. They were all the ocean liners of the day.
Julius Caesar?
The Julius Caesar was an ocean liner.
I
went to Italy on that. And I remember going downstairs in the engine room, and it was the spookiest place in the world.
Yeah.
That film stands out of all your work. I like that. You see it? The Haunting of the Queen Mary?
Sure, I have. I see everything that's
It
horror.
was a
I
really,
produce a lot of horror movies, but mine are more slashery than that. But I enjoy them.
Now, you shot that on the Queen Mary in California, right?
Some of it, yeah, but a lot of it was shot in London.
You shot it in London?
Yeah,
Shot in California. It was shot in London.
Oh.
Yeah. I shot a lot of it in London. They did shoot some exteriors in the Queen Mary at the Queen Mary, but they used another ship in London for most of it. Yeah.
They say the Queen Mary is haunted.
Yeah, that was always the story. I mean, when you go on it, if you've ever been on it,
Did you have any haunting experience?
Well, he wasn't actually on the Queen Mary.
Oh, you didn't work on the ship?
No, they just did exteriors on the Queen Mary, and then they shot it in London.
Oh, so your interior.
So you didn't actually. I'm sure you didn't have any like haunted experiences on a set.
No.
Or did you? Did you?
I've only had one haunting experience in my life, and I wrote about it in my book, which I shall plug now. Caught with My Pants Down and Other Tales from a Life in Hollywood, which came out a couple of years ago. Sorry?
You have a copy? You can show it to us or no?
I do.
I have it written down, so we were going to talk about it. Oh, look at that. Literally with his pants down. Caught with My Pants Down and Other Tales from a Life in Hollywood. There we go. That's a great title. So tell us what the book is about a little bit.
It's a series of anecdotes. It's very light. It's very fortunately got great reviews. It was very much kind of in the style of David Niven or Michael Caine. It was light-hearted. I destroy 4 people in it. I tell the truth about 4 people who should be named and shamed. But otherwise, it's very light-hearted romp through 40 years in Hollywood. But there was only one of the few serious stories. It was about a haunting in California. It's the only supernatural thing that's happened to me in my life, and I can't explain it. And I'm something of a skeptic, but the story stands on its own, and you have to kind of take notice. But yeah, no, it's luckily I think it's a fun beach read and it's a fun plane read.
I know I love it. First of all, I love David Niven. Ron and I at separate times have each met Michael Caine. He used to have a restaurant in South Beach, and I was eating at his restaurant. He was sitting at the table next to me, and he spoke with me.
Michael Caine was absolutely the most charming man you will ever meet in the first 2 minutes of meeting him. Yeah. He's absolutely. I met him in a restaurant in Beverly Hills when I lived there. He was with his wife, and I was with another famous actress, and we sort of sat tabled next to each other. And Michael and I continued to have conversation. What I found was he was absolutely charming. The first second you meet him. I mean, how does anybody have that kind of charm? And friendly. He knew my name right away and referred to my name, Ron, and his wife. And lovely man, Michael Caine.
And David Niven is the star of my favorite Christmas movie. What's the name of the Christmas movie I like with Cary Grant in that, David Niven?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know the one you mean. Yeah.
Bishop's Wife. Yeah, that's like my favorite Christmas movie. I watch it every year.
David Niven was another charming guy. I've never met him, but I know of him. And he was very gracious. English people are that way. You know, they're very gracious. The American is the tough American. We don't have that sort of finesse.
I don't think I'd have ever ended up in Hollywood if it hadn't been for David Niven, because I read those books when I was a teenager. and they just captured me, and I was so entranced by the whole thing. So when the chance came for me to come when I was very young, in my 20s, I seized it and stayed. And then I worked with Michael Caine on The Prestige, and I loved that. That's the only reason I did the film, because I don't have much to do in it. And he had to call me Sir in it, which I loved. But he was so fabulous. I had such a great time with him. And what was so thrilling was that when I wrote the book, I wanted it to be in that spirit. And a lot of the critics compared it to David Niven and Michael Caine's books. So kind of mission accomplished. I felt absolutely thrilled.
So how did you get into The Prestige though? Like that's a pretty big movie to just come here and like get into a movie. Like it's not like you started out doing, I don't know, The Bear Kills You in the Woods movie.
I don't know. I just was offered it. I mean, I by that stage I'd done some pretty big stuff, and I was just offered it, So I was like, I think it was 1 or 2 days work, but it was with Michael Caine, and I went, yep, straight away. The same with the Woody Allen film I did. Was with Anthony Hopkins. As soon as I heard Anthony Hopkins, yep, I'm in. Okay.
So what was the first thing that you actually did when you came to Hollywood, though? What was your first experience?
Well, the first TV show I did was called Wild Side. It was a Western with Meg Ryan, and I'm trying to think who else was in it. But it only ran a season, but it was so perfect because it was my first audition there, and they said, you can ride a horse, right? And I said, of course, yeah, oh yeah, I've been riding my whole life. Never sat on a horse in my life. And I got the job mainly because the director said, well, you had a great twinkle in your eye, and it made me laugh, which probably means I was overacting in the audition. But then I got a call for wardrobe fitting, and the production secretary said, we've also booked you 6 riding lessons. I said, oh, why is that? And they said, because we know that you can't ride.
That was good.
And I thought, I've mastered the art of Hollywood bullshit within a month of being here.
Which is a very important thing, actually, because everybody's so full of shit that it's not even funny.
Yeah, that was my first job. And then I was doing some theater and TV shows. But the first film I ever did was extraordinary because it was like one scene, but it became very well known. It was in Lethal Weapon 2. And I had the scene with Danny Glover and Joe Pesci, where Danny Glover is pretending to try and emigrate. And of course, at the time of apartheid, and I'm the South African, and they said, I said, well, you can't do that. It's impossible. And he said, why not? And the line I had was, because you're black. And Joe Pesci loved that line so much, he kept repeating it, because you're black. And it became the sort of catchphrase for the movie. He said it 50 times afterwards. And to this day, I still have people, I mean, it's literally one scene, but it's a good comic scene. It's a funny scene. To this day, I have people, when they meet me, going, because you're black. And often, by the way, it's African Americans.
No, I think it's fun. And I think that it doesn't matter if it's not a big role in those big movies, if it's a memorable role. I mean, that's like one of the most memorable roles of the whole movie. Big. Yeah, so I think that works out really good.
Some people just have it made. Jane Russell was my sister practically. We were best friends. And I said to Jane, really, how did you get into business? She said, first of all, she said it was the Lord's will. And then she said, a picture got to Howard Hughes, a photograph of me from camp. That's how it happened. Howard Hughes saw the picture and cast her in The Outlaw. The Outlaw, they showed her cleavage bending over the bed, and it became the most important film in the history of film. For 4 years, they shelved it because it was shocking. Jane Russell riding on a horse with her tits bouncing. And all they did was shoot her tits throughout the whole movie. And she became the tit girl. But Jane Russell's tits were only a 36B. She was not a big-chested woman. And I know that because I've seen her in her pajamas. So it's amazing how it happens. It happens to a lot of people. Lana Turner supposedly was discovered in Schwab's drugstore wearing a sweater. So people do fall into the business by some miracle. And there are people who are talented actors who work so hard at becoming famous and they die unknown.
I think that's why they die unknown, though, is because they're trying to be famous instead of just doing good work.
Well, I can say with all degree of honesty that my breasts have never gotten me a job.
Good.
Not a single job. In fact, I would suspect now that my breasts would probably prevent me getting a job.
Which is fun. So
Jane resented that when they always wanted her to pick up a bucket of water or bend over. She just said, "That's enough, folks. That's enough," because she felt it was stupid.
So, do you like television more than movies, or what do you, as an actor? Because you've written too. Do you prefer television or movies?
I just love acting. I mean, I think I've probably done my last. I might do one more play. Early in my career, I loved doing theatre, and then I kind of less so. I find them almost interchangeable, film and TV now. I mean, there's such a small differentiation. I do love being on a movie set for 2 or 3 months, and you have that instant family. You can do with a TV show if you're on a regular or recurring role, but it's more of a factory making sausages. Each week you've got to turn out. Whereas a film, there's more kind of focus on this one thing. So I really like that. I find that very rewarding, and I always miss the people afterwards. It becomes your new family for a short while. And it was the same when I did plays. You become very close to people. And I think television is just different. It's more like a day-to-day job. I enjoy it and I love it. But now, as I say, the differentiation is so minimal. I mean, you're making films now that would have been independent films that are now for Netflix, they're television films.
Right.
Working in film today is different than 50 years ago. I'm 85. I'm 85 years old. So being 85 years old, I've been around for a while. And I never got much work of importance. Now at 85, I have 6 or 7 movies waiting for me to. They keep calling me up. I guess because there aren't too many 85-year-old people alive that they could put in a movie. So as an old man, there's tons of work. When I was young, I was just another good-looking guy with dark hair. I looked like Tony Curtis, and it didn't work for me. Nobody casted me. I was too ethnic, too Italian. What could I play? A Spanish, a Greek? They wanted Tab Hunter. They wanted Troy Donahue. They wanted blonde, blue-eyed Americana. Now that I have white hair, I guess I look white. They don't think of me as some kind of a dark Latin person because I used to be very dark. Didn't work. So what I tell people is, it may not other actors, it may not happen for the next 40 years, but hang in there because it can happen. And it happened to me at like 75. When I turned 75, I got a lot of work.
Yeah, no, I'm always waiting for my competition to die to get a role. It's just,
I'm always waiting for my competition to die to get a role.
That's what happened. Who's left to play a grandfather?
If you live that long, you deserve the role. I'm really annoyed because I have a completely white beard, and I'm sort of almost unshaven now, but my hair won't go white. And so people go, "Oh, you dye your hair, right?" No, I don't. I'd love to go white. I thought Steve Martin, when he was very young, went kind of silver haired, was the coolest looking guy in the world. And so I'm so annoyed that my hair it doesn't go the same color as my beard, because I think I could start playing Santa Claus and things like that,
Start playing Santa
No,
Claus.
but listen, I mean, I wish we could flash a picture of me when I was young. You would think that I was probably Spanish, Italian. I was jet black. For some reason, when you're young, you get tan easy. When you're old, you don't tan anymore. There's no pigment left. There's nothing left. So you become white. Look how light I am with my white hair. You'd never believe I'm 100% Italian. I don't look it.
So wait, I want to switch.
And it worked against me when I was
when he was younger. He works a lot now, but
So, make your hair gray.
Yeah, diet silver.
You get a lot more.
I like the big glasses, though. The big glasses is a nice touch. So I think the big glasses are cool. So here's something I like to ask everybody, actors wise, and you're also a writer. It might change it a little bit, but like a bucket list, and it's kind of going to be hard for you because you've already been in movies with like almost every major person on the planet. But male and female actor that if you could work with any male or female actor living and dead, who would you like to work with? And then the second half of the question is, if you could have ever been in any movie ever made, what movie would you have liked to been in? And don't pick one of your own.
Wow. Well, I think I would have liked to work with David Niven just because he was my inspiration for going to Hollywood.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But there's a lot of people I'm such a great admirers of. I mean, to be honest with you, two of my biggest heroes are Michael Caine and Anthony Hopkins, and I've worked with both of them. I grew up loving Monty Python, was the biggest influence on my life, absolutely on my life, comedy-wise and performing-wise. And I've worked with Eric Idle and has become probably one of my closest friends. He actually lives 15 minutes from me here in France, and then 15 minutes.
He wrote the forward to your book, didn't he? Write the forward to your book?
To my book, and now he lives. He's lived 15 minutes from me in LA too, and now he's actually moved to a house even closer to the one I just moved out of. So we've been great friends for 25, almost 30 years.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I think I've been very lucky in that I've met and worked with my heroes. And the other thing, the film, if I could have been in any film, well, you know what? I'll tell you what. One is I'm pissed off about. I'm one of the few English actors that hasn't been in any of the Harry Potter movies. So there we go. That would have been nice,
Yeah, they should have used you. You could have fit perfect.
Absolutely.
You said he's one of the few British actors that weren't in any of the 7 Harry Potter movies.
Yeah, come on.
I love the Harry Potter movies, so I've seen all of them. I read all the books, and I think you would have been great in that. And they could have put you in the new TV show that they're doing. They're launching the TV show now.
Yeah. I'm not bitter at all. No, and I think film-wise, I mean, any of the great classics. I mean, Shawshank Redemption or Godfather's 1 or 2. I mean, I don't know what I'd play in Godfather's 1 or 2. That's more your.
Yeah, that's him. He would be good in that.
Godfather. But yeah, maybe I could have played an English accountant or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But those those 2 answers to your question.
Oh, okay. Give me a female
actress.
artist that you think would be fun, living or dead, to work with.
Well, I mean, I've worked with one of the people I admire the most currently, and so, God, living or dead, boy. I suppose I think Katharine Hepburn would have been amazing.
Oh yeah,
to work with.
She was tough. She was tough on a set. Back in the day, I heard rumors about her when she worked. She was a bitch, and other stars, she'd humiliate another actor by criticizing them if they didn't get it right. So she wasn't the best choice, I would think.
But I've worked with Angela Lansbury, Emily Blunt, who I adore. Played my daughter. She played my daughter in 5-year engagement, and she was fabulous. So
I should redeem myself, because when I was 19, I worked with Sophia Loren. I was a soldier in That Kind of Woman, and I worked with her and got to know her a little bit. She was charming and wonderful.
Sophia Loren and Tab Hunter.
Tab Hunter, who was my friend forever. Tab and I were lifelong friends up until he passed away. So another great guy, another fabulous person.
So how did you transition into being a writer then? Like you You started out as an actor. You've written. I haven't seen a lot of the movies you wrote, but I did see the first Tooth Fairy. I didn't know there was a second one. I just saw it on IMDb, and I love the comedian that you have in it. But like, how did you? I mean, obviously you can write. You also wrote a book, and the first Tooth Fairy movie was super cute. That was Dwayne Johnson, right?
It was. I haven't seen the second one either. I was the only person who got paid for that, who was involved with the first one, because I had the story by credit. But I got into writing because I'd always been interested in writing. I studied English at university, and then I wrote in my spare time. And then when I moved out of theatre and into television and film in LA, I had more time on my hands. So I started writing, and I got very lucky. The first film that I wrote with my ex-wife, on spec, sold for a high six-figure sum, and I suddenly had a huge career as a writer. So the Tooth Fairy became that was an interesting one. That was a general meeting I had with Jason Blum, who makes mostly horror movies.
Yes.
These days, but Jason in those days had just left Miramax and was doing all sorts of things. And he said, what have you got in the pipeline? And I said, well, I've got these couple of ideas. I'm talking to my daughter, who was 11 at the time, about doing a film about the Tooth Fairy. And she said, oh, tell me a bit about it. And I said, well, I just scribbled down some notes a couple of weeks ago. And he said, oh, why don't you write that up into a treatment, because it sounds great. And I wrote a long treatment, and we then got Gans and Mendel, Lyle Gans and Babylon Mendel involved, because I said, the one thing I don't want to do is write this movie. I'll write the story and I'll produce it, but I don't want to be in it. I don't want to write it, because I was something else I was writing, and I'd written family films, and I was kind of a bit just not that interested at that point in time. So we found them, and we went through the studio system extremely quickly, and it got made by Fox within 2 years of me telling Jason about the idea.
Love it.
I'd like to be in it. I wanted to be in it, but I went to the studio after they'd cast it all, and they had Julie Andrews and they had Stephen Merchant as the two of the main characters in Fairyland. And I said, well, can't I play one of the fairies in Fairyland? And they said, we've already got too many old British fairies in this movie. You can't play. I said that's 3 lawsuits in one sentence. Ageism, and homophobic, and national law racism. Too many old British fairies in this movie. I was so pissed off. So
Jason Blum is a big deal, though. Like, he has become a really big deal. I actually have a movie that I'm almost funded for, and we're going to reach out to his wife, actually, to be in it.
Who's his wife?
His wife is Courtney Stoddard, and she's a big influencer. But she fits the role was actually written for her. I didn't know she was Jason Blum's wife until recently. I started following him on Instagram and TikTok, and but she fits perfect. But he has turned out to be like the biggest, superstar, especially in horror. Blumhouse is like huge. Almost everything they touch turns to gold. So good for him, and good just to have the experience of working with him. So also, we should tell everybody your Instagram is Jim Piddock. You guys, it's JimPiddock. Are you on any other platform like TikTok or anybody else? Any other places?
I'm on Blue Sky.
Okay.
Which I like. I'm on Facebook, and I deleted my Twitter account, X as it's called now, about 6 months ago or longer, when it became a kind of toxic quagmire of nastiness.
It used to be huge there, but I'm not. I really like TikTok the best out of all of them, but then I go to Instagram as my second one. So you guys follow him on Instagram. That way you can see everything that's going. Get his book, Caught with My Pants Down and Other Tales from a Life in Hollywood. Does the book have pictures in it too?
Yes, it's got lots of pictures.
I like pictures.
Pictures. Yes, if you get I think if you get the digital version, they're in color. The printed version in black and white, and then the audio version you get no pictures. But so buy all 3, and then you'll be. Did
you available on Amazon?
Yeah, absolutely. Amazon. Yeah, that's the best place to buy it, actually, on Amazon.
Okay, so you guys get it, Caught with My Pants Down and Other Tales from a Life in Hollywood. Check out all his films and TV shows. The one I'm going to have to watch, is it still available? The one that you wrote, Mascots, is that still available to be seen?
Absolutely, it's on Netflix. Yeah.
I've never seen that one. I just noticed it when I was taking notes for you, so I'll have to go and check that one out, because I work as a publicist, so I watch a lot of stuff while I'm working. When I'm not making film.
It's basically Best in Show with a competition with people wearing sports mascots costumes. So it's very silly, but very much in the same structure of Best in Show. A lot of very strange people wearing very strange costumes and doing very strange performances.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. So this is Jim Piddock. Please follow him. We want to thank you for coming on the show. It's been such a pleasure. I hope you love living in France. But I hope you come here sometime and we get to meet you.
How could you not love living in France? Just for the bread alone, I'd move to France.
I know, the baguettes and the croissants.
Oh my God, the best bread in the world is in France.
So thank you so much for coming on. I know it's late there, but we appreciate it. We've had a great time. All the best to you and everything that you do from further on out. And if you get any new things coming up and you want to come back, let me know and we'll promote the hell out of it.
Fantastic. Lovely to meet you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Jim. Thanks a lot. It was a good show.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Don't forget about my book. You can get my book, Pop Goes the Collector. It's on Amazon. You can get it in hardback or on Kindle. Check it out. We want to thank everybody in the chat room, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Jimmy,
This is MC Alfred.
and Ozzy.
I'm just chilling, Jimmy Star, yo, sitting down and designing. Where every man them thinking, what are we gonna be wearing? Yo, I'm a Liverpool MC, you can't test me. Big up the girls inside the party. Let's get down to crazy Jimmy. Big up myself and known as Alfie, the one and only, the Turkish MC.
Always love the clothes of Jimmy.
Bitch, I'm your wanna be. Jimmy Star, new celebrity.
We'll take you out.